What's up, guys? Welcome to World Strong Reviews. I'm your host, Ezekiel. So as you can see, we're changing it up a bit. Usually I do these reviews in my car or outside. I am now in my closet, switching things up, giving more of a sit-down approach. And this is kind of how I want to do things moving forward. I also have a computer here to remind me of some notes. I think with my last review of Sandman, kept saying Rose Parker, and I was like, where am I gonna get Rose Parker? So Rose Parker, okay. Rose Parker was Rose Walker. So I'm sorry for that mistake. So I got me some notes here just to, just help me remember, remind me, keep me focused. So today's review is on Doc Martin. So Doc Martin is a British comedy medical show. It's currently on Hulu, and I want to say it's currently on Prime. The show's started coming on, I want to say 2004, and it's still currently coming out. I think the next season, this final season, season 10, is coming out the 7th of this month, hopefully. I've been waiting for it since 2019, and let's first start with a rating. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a rating on shows first. And I give Doc Martin a 9 out of 8. Okay, 9 out of 8. Why give it a 9 out of 8? Well, let's first go over other medical rating shows that are similar. So House, I give it a 10. Okay, House, if you haven't seen the medical drama House, it is amazing. And we all can agree that House is pretty much the Sherlock Holmes in medical drama. That's what pretty much the show's premise is. House is the protagonist. That's his name, Dr. House. And he's on drugs. He's brilliant. And House just deals with a lot of, inception. It's drama. It's gritty. It can be funny sometimes. And he is similar to Doc Martin, but he's a little bit more rude and aggressive than Doc Martin, in my opinion. But House, I give it a 10 out of 10. Other shows, medical shows, Grey's Anatomy, I give an 8. And the only reason I give Grey's Anatomy an 8 is I think the politics behind Grey's Anatomy kind of ruined the show and ruined the trajectory of the show. So I started watching Grey's Anatomy very early on, when it first, was coming out. And I think I'm pretty sure when Elijah Washington left, I was done. Dr. Burke, for those who don't remember, when he left and the whole situation with Yang and just the behind the scenes politics of the show kind of ruined the show for me. They were the couple that I was leaning towards. Some would say the show has gotten better. I don't know. I've looked at it, glimpse. It still comes on to this day. It's like season 15, 16 spinoffs, but I give that show a solid 8. I could be a little biased. That's okay. Other medical shows, ER. ER is one of the first medical shows, maybe not one of the first, St. Elsewhere with Denzel Washington back in the day, but it's pretty up there. ER, I give a solid 9 for ER. ER had tons of character development, kept the story going. Sometimes it's a little left, little out over the place, but all in all, it did pretty good. It was a pretty solid show, nonetheless. Characters changing, characters evolving. It did pretty good for, I want to say, 10 or 9 seasons. I'm not entirely too sure. We have a Korean drama, hospital playlist. I'll give that a solid 9.5. Now, if you haven't seen it, some of you probably haven't, it is a very good medical show. Okay. It not stars, but it's about a group of friends who went to medical school together, and you watch them, go through their lives as medical doctors, the trials and tribulations of surgery, managing their lives. It's brilliant. I love it. And it's called Hospital Playlist because they are a band. They're a band as well. And every show, I want to say, every episode ends off with them playing some song from their band, as they're getting back together. So there's 2 seasons on Netflix. You should check that out. I'm gonna mention a couple of two more. Coroner, I give Coroner. So let's talk about Nip Tuck. So Nip Tuck, solid 9. I love Netflix Nip Tuck. If you don't know, Ryan Murphy, who created American Horror Stories, 911 spinoff, Gleek, created Nip Tuck. It was a show on FX back in the day, maybe like early 2000s, 2002, 2004. I'm not entirely sure. It's Ryan Murphy, so it was pretty sexual. Well, if you haven't seen American Horror Stories, so never mind, you probably wouldn't know. But it's pretty sexual, pretty gritty, crime, and it's pretty much about two plastic surgeons and how they just weave in and out of the messes that comes with their practice. But it is very good. It's one of the first ones I've seen medical shows like getting that intense. So now that you have my rating, let's also talk about the feel of a show. So a lot of shows I give feelings along with the ratings. So Doc Martin, I give it a 9.8. And one of the good feelings that I get from it is it's just a laid back comfort show. Out of all the series I just named, Doc Martin is probably more comedy than anything else. All of those shows were pretty much dramatic. Doc Martin could get dramatic, but it's leaning more so on the comedy side, and it's feel good. I can watch it with my kids, my whole family. We can all watch it. We have all watched it before and just have a marathon through it. I'm currently rewatching series 1. I watched it just to get a feel of it again so I can do this review for you guys. And it's brilliant. It's very good. So Doc Martin stars Martin Clunes and Caroline Catz are the two stars. Caroline plays Louisa, the love interest. And if you didn't know this, fun fact, Doc Martin is a spin-off character from the movie Saving Grace, where he plays Dr. Martin Bedford, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen the movie. But watching it on just reading reviews and how they came up with Doc Martin, it's a completely redesign of the character. I think they just kept the actor and gave him his own series, in my opinion. The character was more laid back and smoked in the movie, from what I read, but Doc Martin he's nothing like that. On the show, Doc Martin, his name is Dr. Martin Ellingham. He basically has blood phobia. He was a brilliant surgeon, and he developed blood phobia. And blood phobia is a fear of blood. And every time he sees blood, he would, vomit, get nauseated, and he had to stop practicing. So he ends up getting a post or a position as a general practitioner in a small town off the sea, and it's called Port Wynn. It's a fictional town called Port Wynn. It's kind of like a cottage type setting, and this is pretty much what makes the show. So Doc Martin's behavior, he's just blunt. He has no sense of humor, no social skills. He is brilliant nonetheless, but he is just deadpan, and some of the things that comes out of his mouth seems like he has no bedside manner. He doesn't know how to interact with people, and what makes this show is his interaction with the villagers, and how he just comes off to be just so rude and just over the top sometimes with his antics, and the village antics. And that's what makes the show so funny and just so good. Now, there is a little hint of medical mystery, and that's why I added those shows earlier in my rating. So there is medical mysteries. One of his good expertise, just because of his profession, and he's just so good at what he does, is he's a dietitian. He's able to diagnose people spot on. Very rarely is he wrong. And because he's just so good at his job, besides his behavior, he ends up growing a relationship with the villagers. And one of the main relationship, which is the love interest, is Louisa. Now, him and Louisa, very first shot of the episodes, you can already tell they're going to have some ups and downs, but there is some chemistry there. It's one of the more interesting love stories one of the most interesting love stories I've seen on TV, only because they do take their time to develop the relationship, but eventually they go somewhere. They don't just, we'll give you a kiss and then for the next whole season, we don't talk about it. No, that's one of the things that I greatly enjoy about Korean and British shows. They take it there. They're not going to sit there and dally dally you along for a long period of time with romance or certain plots. They are able to just keep it moving, unlike American shows. Well, American shows back in the day when they're like 22, 24 episodes and a bunch of filler episodes drove me crazy, other than 24. Um, their relationship will develop, spoiler warnings for some of you guys, kind of skip forward, but they do end up getting married. I'm not sure entirely what season or series they do, but they eventually get married and have kids. And it's just going to have ups and downs in their relationships. And I greatly appreciate their relationship. I love her. Caroline brings a nice, refreshing air to Dark Martin. You know, sometimes he can be sometimes he can be just too rude and you can kind of get numb to it. And then you got Louisa and the villagers come in and kind of spread that out and really makes the show. Because I think if it was just him and not the ensemble of the villagers, it would be close to House, but I don't know, you'll just get numb to it after a while. The comedy is where the show really shines, not necessarily the medical part. It's the comedy of it all. Further, more spoilers warnings. Further on the series, you start to realize he starts to see a psychiatrist and he gets diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome and a little bit of schizophrenic disorder, a little bit of traits of schizophrenic disorder. And you'll see him having to deal with that, trying to understand himself in the series. And I just love that character development. You know, not many series will take it there and give you that character development, especially in a comedy like this. You'll probably have like one episode and it's like a bombshell and then it go off. No, you know, and then never talk about it again. No, Dark Martin, you'll actually get to see I want to say throughout the series, at least 2 or 3 series where he has to deal with the psychiatrist and, you know, his diagnosis and how he's able to cope with it and develop his family and his relationship with Louisa. I think that's all I want to talk about with Dr. Martin. Please go ahead and watch it. You know, it's the last season that's coming out fairly soon. Marathon through it. Like I said, it's on Hulu and it's on Amazon Prime. I believe Amazon Prime, you might need to sign up with Amazon Prime and one of the British apps that's on there to get it. I can't remember which one exactly, but it might be BritBox. I want to put my money on BritBox. You can watch majority of the seasons all on Amazon Prime. I haven't checked out to see how many seasons Hulu has. Hulu should have all seasons on it. But if you have seen it, comment below. Tell me what you think about Dark Martin. Tell me what you think about my rating system. About the other shows. If you want to comment below, subscribe, hit the like button, share. I'm growing the channel. And this is Ezekiel World Strong Reviews. And stay tuned to more series.